Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I am your guide to wisdom. Thank you for joining us on our 7-day-a-week, 7-minute wisdom podcast. This is day 35 of our trek, and in honor of Independence Day in the United States, this past Friday we started a 5-day series of episodes where we are going to consult one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, who was known for his wisdom and practical sage advice. Today we are recording our podcast from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We have moved into our newly renovated office and it really looks great. The room turned out very nice. We invested in some new windows, new hardwood floors, and wainscoting on 2 of the walls. Check out our journal page on day 35 of wisdom-trek.com to see some of the pictures. If you'd like to be kept up to date on Wisdom Trek information, please enter your name and email address in the bottom right-hand corner of the sidebar, which appears on every page. To begin our podcast this evening, our 2 little fawns are resting in the backyard, waiting for their mother to pick them up for the night. And on our trek today, we will continue to review the 85 practical tips written by Benjamin Franklin called The Weight of Wealth. In order to keep our daily podcast to a near 7 to 8 minutes in length, I've split up the remaining 40 tips into 3 days, so this series will be 1 day longer than I originally expected. I hope you don't mind. I want to keep our daily nuggets short and digestible. So let's venture on our trail today as we examine the steps 46 through 57. These nuggets of truth and wisdom can dramatically impact your life so that you will grow in wisdom and insight. So number 46, a little neglect may breed great mischief. If we do not pay attention to what is important in our business and personal lives, then we will leave the door open for bad behavior, either from ourselves or from others. So don't neglect your responsibilities in all areas of life. Number 47, for one of a nail the shoe was lost, for one of the shoe the horse was lost, and for one of the horse the rider was lost. This one is probably familiar to most of you, but pay attention to the little details of life before they become big details. Another saying that I remember growing up is a stitch in time saves 9. If we neglect these small matters, whether it is on our marriage, family, health, or work, we will soon find that we have major issues in those areas of life. Life is like a wheel that needs to be well-rounded in order to have a smooth journey. If we are faithful in handling the small matters of life, then we will be given more responsibility and prosper in life. Here's a little snippet of a parable that Christ told in Matthew 25, verse 23. The Master said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling a small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." Along our wisdom trek in the future, we will look a little bit deeper into these principles of faithfulness and loyalty. Number 48. A man may, if he knows not how to save as he gets, keep his nose all the life to the grindstone and die not worth a groat at last. Now, a groat is not a word that we're familiar with, or at least I wasn't, and it's a traditional name for a long-defunct English silver coin worth about 4 English pennies. The principle here is if we don't learn how to save and invest in our younger years of life, we'll have to work hard until we die, and we won't have anything to show for it. This is not the type of legacy that we should desire. Number 49. If you would be wealthy, think of saving as well as getting. Now this ties into the previous one, but regardless of how much money you earn in life, if you spend as much or more than you make, then you'll never be wealthy. You must save throughout your life in order to gain wealth. It's a mindset, and it's a choice. Number 50. What maintains one vice would bring up 2 children. That is to say that the bad habits of any kind are not good, especially if they are going to drain you financially, which most of those bad habits do. Unfortunately, we see all too often how destructive habits not only destroys the person who is inflicted by it, but it also destroys their family. It is much more costly than just a material outlay. Number 51. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. This is so true of our business and personal lives. Paul and I have seen in so many cases where a business or a person was not careful in spending on the little things, then almost always they will have financial problems. We tend to be very frugal in our spending personally, and as a result, it has allowed us to enjoy better quality goods and to take some nice trips. But the trade-off is that we forego the immediate for the lasting. You must be willing to make those type of sacrifices. Number 52. Who dainties love shall beggars prove. Now, this is a little bit of a difficult one, but the saying dovetails into the previous quote. Dainties here are non-essential items that are not really needed. If you're not willing to give up the regular and frequent spending of small things today, then don't be surprised that you'll always be struggling to make ends meet. Some small or practical examples may be going out for premium coffees all the time, eating out often, or making other non-essential purchases, especially if you can't really afford them. Number 53. Fools make feasts and wise men eat them, which means that unwise people spend money they don't really have, many times to impress others because they are driven by their egos. Wise people do not needlessly spend money, but instead are willing to wait for the right opportunity. Many times this opportunity comes because of the unwise decisions of those that are foolish. Number 54, buy what thou hast no need of, and ere long thou shalt sell thy necessaries. Oh, Ben was hitting home in today's foolish spending habits of so many people. The more I analyze the difference between the need and wants in life, the more I realize that there are very few true necessities. If you purchase items that are not necessities when you really don't have the money to do so, and especially if you're using credit cards without the money to pay for them in full each month, then you become a slave to those companies. The freedom that debt-free living brings is so liberating. One other point here to keep in mind, the more you own, the more that you'll be owned by those items. With all possessions come responsibilities. Number 55, at a great pennyworth, pause a while. He means that perhaps the cheapness is apparent only and not real. Now, pennyworth here means a good deal or something that's on sale. This one I had to analyze a bit for the meaning to become apparent. What Ben is saying is that be careful when something looks like it's a real bargain. You usually get what you pay for. Number 56, many have been ruined by buying good pennyworths. Once again, if you are so enticed by bargains, you need to be very careful in what you are receiving. Only buy what is needed, regardless of the savings. Many a family has been ruined by spending money on too many good deals. Number 57, 'tis foolish to lay out money in a purchase of repentance. Now, buying things for people that you have wronged for the sake of trying to make up for your actions is not wise. First, do all that you can to prevent doing harm to others. Second, heartfelt repentance is much better and more lasting than spending money to compensate for your wrongs. Well, that'll finish our podcast for today. If you've missed any of the previous episodes in this series or any episodes at all, please check out Wisdom Trek on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or at wisdom-trek.com. Tomorrow we will continue on day 4 of our series of Gaining Wisdom as told to us by Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States. So please check into our camp tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. And if you enjoy our daily dose of wisdom, I encourage each of you to help us in one of the following 4 ways. Leave us feedback about the podcast on Wisdom Trek. This would be so helpful. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher so that the podcast will be downloaded to you automatically each day. And if you previously left us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, I certainly appreciate it. This means so much to us. If not, please leave us a rating so we can gain exposure and have more people join us on our Wisdom Trek. And lastly, spread the word to everyone you know to join us on our Wisdom Trek. I thank you for listening, for allowing me to serve you in this manner. The journal for this podcast can be found at wisdom-trek.com, where we also have pictures, sayings, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. As we take this trek together, let's always remember to live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy the journey, and to create a great day. See you tomorrow.